got that venting of that liquid oxygen from the transporter erector lines there. And next up, Falcon 9 will be in startup around the T-minus 1 minute mark, so we should hear that call out as well. And that will be when the flight computers take over the launch countdown. And Falcon 9 is now in startup. We are just waiting on the final call from the launch director. And with all systems go, let's listen in to the terminal count and watch as Falcon 9 carries our 53 Starlink satellites out to space. Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, carrying our stack of 53 Starlink satellites to low Earth orbit. Now, just a few seconds ago, we did start to throttle down the engines, reducing the speed by decreasing the flow of the fuel to the engines. That's in preparation for max Q, or maximum aerodynamic pressure. And we should be passing through max Q here in a few seconds. And we've now passed through max Q. So with that, we now have 4 events happening in quick succession. That'll be main engine cutoff, or MECO, stage separation, second stage engine start 1, or SES1, and then followed by fairing deploy on the second stage. Now, main engine cutoff, or MECO, is where all 9 of those M1D engines will shut down, and that'll slow the vehicle down in preparation for that second event, stage separation. Stage separation is where the first and second stage separate from each other. And right after stage separation, the first stage will start to make its way back to Earth for landing. And while we are able to land on land or at sea on our drone ship, we will be attempting to recover the first stage tonight on our drone ship. Just read the instructions. And while this is happening, stage 2 will continue on its journey with the third event, SES1, or second stage engine start 1. And that's where the MVAC engine will light up and propel the second stage along with the Starlink satellites to orbit. And just a few seconds after that will be fairing deploy. Really awesome night views tonight. We saw MECO, main engine cutoff, on that first stage. We have the first stage on your left-hand screen, second stage on your right-hand screen. We did see the fairing halves deploy from the second stage. Now, while SpaceX has reflown Falcon fairing halves since 2019, As previously mentioned, one of the fairing halves on tonight's mission is flying for the 4th time and the other for the 2nd time, and we'll be attempting to recover the halves again tonight on our recovery vessel, Doug. Now, first stage on your left-hand screen is making its way back to our drone ship. Just read the instructions. And on your right-hand screen, the 2nd stage is currently on a nominal trajectory. Now, as stage 2 heads towards its targeted drop-off orbit, stage 1 will complete 2 burns in order to make its way back to Earth, the first of which is the entry burn. That's where 3 of 9 M1D engines reignite and help slow the stage down as it re-enters into the upper part of the Earth's atmosphere. Now, the second will be the final burn for the first stage, and that's the landing burn. Now, this is just a single engine burn that brings the vehicle speed down rapidly in order to land on the drone ship. And again, these Merlin engines have 190,000 pounds of thrust, so that one single engine is just enough to help the vehicle touch down for landing. Now, if you're just now joining us, we've had a successful liftoff of Falcon 9 from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station's Slick 40. Right now, you're looking at a live view of Falcon 9's 2nd stage on your right-hand screen, the 1st stage on your left-hand screen, and it's currently making its way back to our drone ship. Just read the instructions. This is our 42nd launch of Starlink satellites overall. SpaceX's 11th launch in the first 11 weeks of 2022 is the 8th Starlink mission of 2022, and the 149th total overall SpaceX launch, which includes Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy. And we're just about a minute away from that entry burn on the 1st stage. 2nd stage is still looking good on a nominal trajectory. Now, it is nighttime, so a bit hard to see on the left-hand side, but you can see the grid fins on the 1st stage. There's 4 hypersonic grid fins on the 1st stage that help to guide the vehicle back to the landing zone. Again, tonight it will be on our drone ship. Just read the instructions. And we're just a few seconds away from the entry burn beginning on the 1st stage. And as you can see, your left-hand screen lighting up, that is these 3 engines reigniting for this entry burn. This should last about 20 seconds long and help slow the vehicle down as it's entering back into the Earth's atmosphere. And as those engines shut off, that concludes the entry burn on the 1st stage. Now, we are just about a minute or so away from the landing burn on the 1st stage. Again, that is just a single engine burn to help slow the vehicle down enough to touch down on our landing zone. That burn lasts about 20 seconds long as well, and just about 20 seconds after that, we should have SECO 1, or 2nd stage engine cutoff 1, on the 2nd stage. Again, everything's still looking nominal on the 2nd stage. Some great views of the MVAC engine on your screen. The MVAC engine is optimized for 220,500 pounds of thrust in the vacuum of space. It's a pretty powerful engine that you're seeing there on your screen. We are just a few seconds away from the landing burn beginning on the 1st stage. And there you can see on your left-hand screen that landing burn has begun. So let's see if we can land the 1st stage for a 12th time. We had some great views, waiting for confirmation of first stage touchdown. And there you can see it on your screen. Falcon 9 has touched down for this booster's 12th time. This marks our 104th successful recovery of a Falcon 9 first stage. Now we are waiting for SECO 1, that second stage engine cutoff. Should be here in a few seconds. Great news, landing our Falcon 9 first stage, flying for a 12th time, as well as touching down on our drone ship tonight. And we are just waiting for confirmation of SECO 1 and for a good orbit on the second stage. And we have a good orbit on the second stage. And there you can see on your screen the MVAC engine has shut down. So now we're waiting second engine start 2, followed by second engine cutoff 2, which is set to occur a little under 40 minutes from now. So we're going to take a short break until then. So sit back and enjoy the space tunes. See if we can get a live view of deployment here in a few seconds. And there it is on your screen. You could see those 53 Starlink satellites drifting away from our Falcon 9 second stage. Unfortunately, we lost that live view, but we did have visual confirmation of deployment. So that will bring tonight's webcast to an end. Thank you for joining us for our Starlink launch this evening. If you're interested in signing up for Starlink service, head over to starlink.com. As always, a big thank you to the FAA and the range for supporting all of our missions. And thank you for tuning in. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your evening. See you again soon.